Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome students in our discussion on mine closure and sustainability planning. So we have now started this new module in which we are going to talk about asset management and mine closure. Actually the term asset is quite frequently used in our industry, and also in our common vocabulary asset is a known word to us, but when it is used in the industry and particularly in case of our mine closure, we need to do a little bit of more systematically understanding what is an asset for a mines or for any other business, and then how it is to be managed. So today's class we will be talking about this asset and what are the different types of asset and what we understand by asset management. That will be having a basic introduction of this particular subject. So now, as you know, that is, your asset is something that provides a current, future and potential economic benefits. So if you are having a piece of land, maybe you are producing certain rice or vegetables, whatever it is, and it is exactly you are getting some economic benefit of it. You have got a house, and then by staying in that house you have saved the rent, otherwise you would have paid. So these are your asset. Now that means it has got certain economic value right now, or sometimes you have got, suppose you have purchased a Kisan Vikas Patra, or you have purchased NSC. So then what happens with that? You have got certain things, you are having a value you will be getting in future, or if you go to break it in the bank, you will be, so that particular saving certificate or a bond, that is also your asset, because it has got a present value as well as it has got a future potential. So that's why the asset, whether it is in an individual personal category, a community's asset, it could be a company's asset, it is also as a government asset or the national asset. So asset is one which has got this economic value. Now when we know that thing, that there would be certain things we will be talking is a tangible and intangible, that is, which you can see, feel and then have it physically. We get some tangible assets, and there are certain things, that is exactly when you get your degree, that degree is on the basis of that you can get a job, you can earn. So that is also your though it is an intangible, you cannot see, that is there. Now you are getting expertise in asset management, that skill within you, that is also an asset, because it can be transferred to economic value. So then there is a asset life cycle is there, that is, when you are acquiring an asset, say for example you are buying a vehicle for commercial purposes. So when you procure it and then you are putting into service, in between there will be certain overhauling, then you will be repairing on maintenance and all, but after some time you find that no, there is exactly, you are not getting any return, that is, whatever you are earning you are paying it in the maintenance. So at one stage you will be discarding that asset and you will be getting some value return back, and that one you may do it for other purposes. So like that the asset has got a life cycle. Say for example the coal deposit coal deposit. Now it is there in a virgin, you have got certain value is there. It is now, as you will be going on mining, its value will be going on decreasing, and after some time there is no deposits that is left. So that means its life is over. So those things will be discussed in this class, so that after this class you should be able to explain what is an asset and what is asset management. That is what is our main purpose today, and how automated asset management benefits the industry, that also we will briefly touch. And as it is said that in the mine closure planning or sustainability planning, asset handling will be one of the most important thing. That is, what are the remaining asset, what are the asset to be disposed of, and then how the asset can be developed, and then during the lifetime of this, when you have done the integrated closure purposes, how you will be tracking your asset. Those are the things are important, but you will have to develop that skill, and by doing activity you will have to learn it if you want to use it for your purposes. So now coming to this, what is an asset? That is your economic resources, that whatever is having an economic resources that your individual which is only you are having or your company is having, it cannot be accessed by others. So that is asset is it is a personal or a company's, it is own belonging, that others will not have claim on it. That is also one thing. But the asset, it is basically, as we said before, by which you will be deriving some economic value now or in future. So there are example that a company can have a convertible into cash. That means if you are getting some bond or certificate which can be just exchanged in terms of money, that is your asset. And if there is certain things that it is getting your revenue, if a person is having a house he has given on rented, so that means he is earning revenue from it, so it is his asset. Then you can create some benefit out of it. That is your, even your TV for you is an asset, because you are having entertainment, it is having certain things you have invested, and by that you are deriving pleasure in terms of money. It is an asset. Then you can, that means from asset you can create a benefit. That benefit can be in terms of money or in terms of your pleasure, in terms of anything. You can, that's a benefit, it is there, it uses, it belongs to you. Then sustains production, sustains growth. That means in the mine you will have to keep on your productions going on. So for example, in the mining you are having a shovel and dumper. So that means shovel to excavate the blasted material, and the dumper is to transport the material. So these two are assets, and unless and until those two are working properly, maintained properly, you cannot sustain your production. Then if you are to grow in your mines, that means you may have to induce some more, maybe you will have to bring more trucks, more shovel. Then exactly by the asset only you will be realizing the growth in your mines. So when we talk of, while doing a business, that is a mining business, banking business, your that metallurgical business, whatever it is there, that when a company they do a business, then this exactly the business main purpose, whether to give a production or it is to give a service. If you say, for example, a digital consulting firm, for him all the digital, that is computer, its paraphernalia, those are its asset, because by giving those things they have procured a software as an asset. By that they are deriving a solution for, and then they are serving the client. So in that case their whole productivity, that is what deliverable is produced, and then if they can procure more different types of software for services, they will be offering more services. So that is for their asset. Now for any business, these assets, it may, just like your software or computer, any other machines, as I said, your shovel and dumper, or the property, the land which it has got, or the raw materials. So exactly in a steel plant, they will be bringing iron ore. For them, that is an asset. If they don't have the iron ore, they cannot produce steel. That's your gypsum, they will be buying whatever it is, material as raw material is also an asset. And then for your running the machines well, there are some parts will be wearing out, and then that is a consumable parts, you will have to maintain an inventory. Those are also your assets, because they directly contribute to the production and growth, and also your this that maintaining a trouble free operations in your plant or mine. So at the same time, you particular way of getting the things, if you have got a patent, you have got a patent for a new formula for a medicine. So that means that is your asset. With that you can commercialize it. Then sometimes the royalty, that is what you get, that is also your asset. And then other intellectual property, by which exactly if you have developed a new methodology or a new mine closure planning approach, a software if you have developed with your intellectual property, with that you can earn, or it that you can sell it to the company, they will be doing it. So it has got an economic transactions along with it. So this can be called as a business asset. Now coming all these things whatever, to summarily you can define that an asset is a resource with economic value that an individual, corporation or country owns or controls, with the expectation that it will provide a future benefit like generating cash flow, reducing expenses, or improving sales or deliverables. So that is the way in summarily you can tell that what is an asset. Now coming to this, exactly as we said, there could be a different types of asset. A company, its asset could be a physical asset, and it could be your intangible asset. The tangible, physical, which you can see, your equipment, building, vehicle, tools, raw materials, your property, all are physical assets. And in company, many a time they are referred as PPE, property, plant and equipment. They form the main tangible physical assets. And in intangible, as we have already said, that is patent, royalties, intellectual property, brand name, copyright, license, these are your asset, because if you do not get the license to operate, then that machines cannot produce any economic value. So that's why that license itself is your asset. Now a long term asset without physical substance, a license may not be seen like an equipment or a building. It may be there is a soft copy somewhere there, that as a PDF file it may be there, but that is your asset. Then there is certain things called current asset, in which you have got that inventory, that is your, if your product inventory, how many nut or bolts a firm has produced, their list, that inventory is its asset because he can sell it. Then what are the cash in hand and the cash equivalent, what are that exactly, certain things are as a cash you may be having, or some which you can convert into cash easily, that type of things are called cash equivalent. And then the marketable securities, if you are having certain things, you have purchased some bonds and security which can be just surrendered to get the money, so those are there. Then there are accounts receivables, means you have supplied your product and then you are waiting for the money to come, so that is your accounts receivable. So you may be hearing nowadays how exactly in our coal mining company their account receivable is so high because they are not being able to get the money, that is the power supplier, they have failed to pay the price for coal. So that's why it is their account receivable in that, and it sometimes affect the business in a different way. So you should know that is your current asset, physical asset and tangible asset are the three main types of asset a company has. Now you are having this different type of assets, but thing is that the asset by having it alone will not produce its benefits. what you will have to do, you will have to manage them properly. Managing means getting them into use with accountability. That means an asset management is the process of planning and controlling the acquisition. That means how you need to plan when and where, with how much money you will be investing for acquiring an asset, and then you are planning that operational sequence, where, which time, where, with whom, but what operator, with what skilled persons or what type of maintenance support you will be operating it. The maintenance, a policy whether you will be doing a preventive maintenance, condition based maintenance, by doing that, and then up when it will be renewed, up to what is the your expected life you have considered, then when you will be disposing it, all these things, these decisions, when it is taken and exactly executed, we get what is called as an asset management. So asset management is basically a process, and in this process it improves the delivery potential of the asset. So every asset has got certain things to deliver, whether it is service or it is product or a kind. And another thing is there, while you are having these things, a properly managed asset management means you will have to minimize the total cost or total investment on the asset, that how you can optimize the investment by, and then you will have to see that while you are investing over there, you should not take a high risk. So that means you will have to minimize the risk, then only you will be telling, yes, I am managing my asset properly. Now adequate maintenance of proper deployment system, that is your how that your asset management, it involves the maintenance engineering a lot. A shovel, if it is not properly maintained, it will not be deliver its service. When it is to excavate, at that time, suppose its hydraulic system is not functioning, then you cannot, you will be waiting, and then some people will be called and there will be a chaos and all that thing, and the shift is over. So that means that shift's production has gone down. So that's why whenever you think of a asset, there should be adequate maintenance, and that's why there is a term, that's a asset management and that maintenance management. Maintenance management is a small subset of the asset management. That is, maintenance do not bother about how it is procured and how it will be discarded, but the asset management is the whole life cycle will be taken into consideration. So I hope by now you have got a fair idea about what is an asset, how the asset can be classified, and what is this asset management. Asset life cycle is the number of stages an organization asset goes through during the lifespan of the asset ownership. When you are procuring, then at the time of procuring, the things are there in the store, the storekeeper is owning it over there, but he is not using it. Then from the store it is issued to a particular section, so it is now they are owning it, they are user of it. So after that, users, then you find that it is to be discarded, they will be giving it to the discarding sections, they will be discarding it. So that means that during the whole time span, it has got a different status, and with the different status, the ownership in the company, somebody else is having. So this is how a asset life cycle matters. Then it is the period that an organization can effectively and efficiently utilize an asset. When we say that is the lifespan or the life cycle, that there is a definite period in which the asset will be giving a very efficient productive uses. So that whatever your business goals are there, that can be within that your that asset life cycle, asset life which has been defined, it will be doing very effectively. Then asset life cycles, typically it covers all phases of the asset life, that means from the acquisition to the maintenance and disposal. So all these things taken together is your asset management. Now you can see that exactly the asset management, it is a process of maximizing the value of an asset. So it has got certain things you have purchased, a car is purchased, it has a value at that you have paid over there. Now if you got to sell it over there, it may be having a different value, but what type of services it is giving, that value you can go on increasing. So it is a process of maximizing the value of an asset provides to an organizations, that how that asset is providing, what is exactly service it is giving to the organizations from the day of procurement to the day of discarding, that is a total life cycle, and how it does in a most cost effective way. So that means it is not going to demand more oil and lubricant, it is not going to demand very high fuel consumption rate. So that is all are optimized, that will give you a very good ideal asset or asset management. For that, when you do this asset management, you will have to assess the cost, value, risk and performance. These four are the main parameters to be an asset management. Managing an asset means your cost will have to be managed, your value will have to be managed, your risk will have to be managed and the performance to be managed. All these four when managed, then we are getting an asset management, which is a multidisciplinary things. It requires lot of persons knowledge and input, because asset management involves asset planning, where what type of asset you will be procuring, when it will be necessary, how it will be deployed, what type of power sources will be coming, does it give any environmental emission, if so then how will have to be managed. Those are coming in the asset planning. And then will of course the engineering part is there, how it is assembled, how it is put, how it is designed, and then what are its exactly the probable error may come, where the faults may arise. Those things are the engineering aspect. Then it will be having an accounting, that means for running that asset also you will have to have certain fuel is necessary, manpower is necessary, lubricant is necessary. So you are going to keep account of all these things to asset management. Then the maintenance is of course, because if you do not take proper maintenance, after uses your equipment is going to fail and then you do not get any service. So for this reason your asset management will look into the maintenance aspects, where you can bring a preventive maintenance, condition based maintenance, reliability centered maintenance, or the prognostic maintenance, diagnostic maintenance, whatever the different form of maintenance will have to be a part of this asset management. And of course you're having this physical assets in a mine or in a plant for each some job. The production is, if it is a agricultural farm, there it is machine is just giving the plantations, how much exactly plantation in 1 hour. If it is a coal washing machine, coal washing washer is been say jig, then it will be how much amount exactly jigged in 1 hour, that is its production. So that is an index. Many a time that production is coming as a performance index. It may be you can express in total rupee spent in that per unit of productions, total energy consumed per unit of productions. So like that the productions will have to be also managed, and it is a part of the asset management. So when you do this asset management, because as one thing is clear to you, all the machines, equipment, materials, this which are involved in that, they are all your asset. Now when you are managing it, all these things are to be managed in an integrated manner. Now that integration, that is exactly which to be working with whom, that is very important. And say for example, you might be knowing that you are having a shovel and a dumper. A mines, there may be 3 shovels, there may be 40 dumpers. All these 40 dumpers will not go to one shovel, which how you will be assigning them, that is also a part of your operation, but it can be done through asset management, because your this shovel and the dumper, they are your main asset, and they are common, they will have to work together and to get a particular ton of material to be transported certain kilometer. So that's why you will have to keep track of the all what is happening, that which equipment, where it is working, where it is going, and then their location. And you know, in the mining it is distributed over a whole area. So each vehicle where it has gone, you will have to keep it tracking. And sometimes in that you can have, you might have heard about the geofencing, that is, you have kept the tracking. Now if any truck is going out of that your where you have earmarked, you will be knowing that this has become a rock, this truck should not go into that area, but it has gone going in a different area other than its normal route between the shovel and to the stockpile. But if he going somewhere, if you track it, you can know that you are not delivering the coal to our dispatch sections. Where have you taken the coal? That type of things can be managed if you have a tracking system, and which is a part of this asset management. That is called, they are doing a geotagging to the things. So now this another important part in asset management is documenting. Whatever is being done with the asset, they are properly documented, and with data it is established, and that is where how your asset management go. So coming to this, what are the different types of asset management? Because it is with the types of asset, we will be having a different, like physical asset management, it is the process of handling things like fixed asset management, inventory management, infrastructure and public asset management. This comes under physical. Then there is a financial asset management, in which exactly you are managing the procurement, you are investing your capital, or developing an investment strategy. That is how your whatever money you are having, how you will be multiplying it by investing into. That is also your financial asset management. Controlling the budget and costs, that is also a asset management job. Then handling cash, then bond and stock, all these financial instruments, how you are exactly managing to get maximum benefit of it is your part of financial asset management. Then the contractual compliance, this is exactly to streamline the process, like your the information technology asset management, digital asset management, contractual maintenance, and management of intangible asset. All these things come as a contractual within a period by some party. This will be provided as a service. So that to be enhanced. Now we have seen that means your asset management, it helps to the industry for getting so many benefits, because you are giving a timely, you are getting the revenue of it, you are getting the work done comfortably by putting a asset into the system. But there are certain issues that exactly asset management faces. Now if you do not have a properly computerized or digitalized system for this asset management, you will have to do the work manually. That means you will have to make an Excel sheet or a register in which every shift, every time you will be entering the data and will doing, and these are very prone to errors. So in your this data acquisition, whatever you are doing in an asset management, if there error crop in, and then your in the manual data entry, it will not be giving you a proper management. So that's why there is a, you can automate it, we can use digital system for collecting the data by sensors, and your that whole monitoring and managing could be very easy. Now if you do it manually, it lead to some of the unstructured asset management process may come in. That is, you are taking a decision on the basis of, okay, this is having this many hours of operation, or this is emitting this much of diesel exhaust. So those things, if you are not quantifying and not properly collecting by the sensor, if it is not automated, then simultaneously data you cannot take, otherwise you will have to deploy a number of persons to sit and go on collecting the data, which is not practical. Now Moreover, when you are doing it manually, at that time there is no tracking and reporting of the real time asset value, and in that also is you do not know, you are just having the information, but that information will not get properly applied in managing the machines in the field. So, then inability to assess the potential data risk or prevent it. That means when you are manually putting the things in an Excel sheet or a register, from there you cannot say if there is a wrong data has come, and that wrong data may be sometimes very risky, because you have not put the data properly, and from there you have just that there is no chance of any failure. But thing is that you did not notice a particular crack in the machine, and then you have not brought it over there, and then when the next time of operation on that crack it propagates and it collapses. So, a disaster may take place. So, that is not a good asset management. For a good asset management, you will have to have a very smart data collecting system, not like this manually. So, poor and non-existent change management. So, that means when the situation is changing at that time, if you are controlling the things in a digital manner all the time, in real life you are collecting the informations, and on that basis the decision will be fast and correct. But in a manual data entry or manual collections, this thing is not possible. So, the asset management policy which is there, if the asset management policy is not there, you are free to work as you like, and then this may create a chaos. So, that is why in a nutshell, that is your existing system of your manually collecting the data and maintaining the records of doing things, which is a classical traditional method, it may not give a benefit from the investment on the assets. So, your better asset management will have to be there through properly designed system, and which will tell that it will be coming through a automated asset management system. But if you are to see that those hurdles or the bottlenecks in the asset management system is not there, means you can preparing the asset register. You will have to have a very updated asset registers should be developed by day to day, whatever the current information it is coming over there. So, how you digitally manage that data acquisition is important. Then identify asset conditions and rating system. That is how that whether this is a good condition, bad condition, poor condition, needs replacement, those type of things can be studied. Then track assets depreciation accurately at time intervals, because suppose a vehicle, they get depreciated. Now, how much it has depreciated, if it is the old things, now that need to be determined very carefully, and then you determine the value of asset and their replacement costs at a particular time, when it is the most suitable time for replacement can be determined. Then move away from reactive to predictive asset management. So, now earlier your on the machine will be operating, when the problem starts coming, then only you check and then you rectify and do it. But this is an old practice nowadays, it is discouraged, and you can do a predictive, that means you will be monitoring certain things, and from there by analyzing the data you tell okay, there is a probability and after some time this problem will take place. So, before that problem occurs you stop the machine, get that part, change it over there, and then declare now the machine is as new as it is, it will not have any breakdown, you can assure that. Then focus more on change management to ensure database integrity, that is very important. The changes need to be kept recorded, eliminate paperwork and automate tasks like data collection, asset reporting and score. So, a computer application in the asset management is very, very important. So, the requirements of a asset management is you will have to understand the reason behind asset exists, that why, that is your what purposes does this asset serve, why was it procured. That means you start questioning on it, and the answer will be coming by analyzing the situations there, and it will help. So, you will have to, for a better asset management, you will have to collect all the knowledge that asset conditions wise, whatever their people have acquired knowledge over the years need to be kept, and then finding how effectively the asset is being utilized. This is very important. That is, what value is the asset delivering currently, and then is it fulfilling the existing expectations. So, from any mines, they have got a fuel supply agreement to a particular thermal power stations. So, that whether this fuel supply agreement has been made by the coal mine or not, that should be, we should collect this type of information for knowing how it is performing. Then your identify future demands is another thing, because the whole mining or any operation is a dynamic. With time it is changing. Whether tomorrow there is no demand of coal, at that time there is no point in producing and disturbing the earth. So, that is why the identify what is the future demand, will there be a change of service expectations, is the asset robust enough to deliver future demands, that need to be found out. Similarly, assessing the existing maintenance program, how the asset is being maintained, what is being done to maintain that, improve the asset's life cycle, how effective is the current asset maintenance program, is the estimate for maintenance cost accurate. This type of questionnaires are developed, which are available in the net also, you can search. Then predicting depreciation rate and the associated risks, those are the predictions will be on the basis of, you can develop a model using that different variable, how it is varying. From there you can predict a particular trend, and you can tell that whether it is useful life of the asset viewed periodically. That means are you achieving, that is the target which has been assigned to that particular asset. Then what is the impact of the depreciation, that also need to be found out. Then the forecasting asset disposal, when this asset will not be useful and when you will be discarding it, that also need to be done. So, this automated asset management, which is exactly now manually the things were done with registered, with things like that, this has now changed. The present trend is you will automate the asset management system, and then you will not do any unnecessary or additional purchases, because you will be keeping track of the assets and how it is. And it can be easily, say in an institute like IIT, we may be having say more than 1000 or 2000 computers. There could be that is your more than 3,000-4,000 printers may be operating here, we do not know. So, if we can develop this an automated asset management system, that is whoever, if we have a centralized unit of getting all the IT facilities into one, we will be knowing that when which machine is going to be that is your it will be out of order, or we will have to write off an equipment, and then at a present the institution require how many that is your computers to be procured. In the next 5 years, how many will be procured, for that how much budget will have to be kept. This can be done when we bring an automated asset management over there. Similarly, when we will be doing in an institutions, there may be number of laboratories which may be having the same equipment, but thing is that the students, they do not do all the time all these things, that most of the time a laboratory instrument is idle because it is not being used. So, if we make a automated asset management system, we will be able to know that exactly which equipment is running idle at what time, what was the time it has been used, how many students have done over here. Similarly, if we keep our library assets as an asset management, at any time we can tell that exactly which books are not at all purchased, not at all read, what type of books are procured, and then lot of money is locked, but they are not used. And if such type of books are not used over here, if any another library, if they want to get that type of book has got demand, this can be transferred over there. Similarly, a lot of things can be done if you automate this as our assets, or the asset management is done by an intelligent automation. In asset management is being accepted rapidly in the industries for cost saving. It provides, along with capacity creation, risk reduction, improved client experience, enhanced employee engagement. All these things can be done from the asset. The maximum benefit can be obtained. So, we need to map the assets with the, in a mining site, say if we can know that what are exactly the particular equipment, what are their supplier, what are their maintenance supports, all these things are kept, your maintenance contract, your warranty claims, your safety inspections, your regulatory compliances, all these things can be linked together in an automation, that, and for that you develop a software for your asset management purposes, a computerized asset management, and then your whole life cycle this can be, it can manage, and then at a real time status of each and every components can be found, and we can get a very intelligent asset management. If we can have such type of intelligent asset management, an automated asset tagging system will be, they will be using a scanning technology for efficient inventory tracking with fewer staff. You can reduce your required manpower because you can do many things in a computerized way, and it will keep the asset information well organized, and it will bring accuracy in every step of its life cycle, and the troubleshooting will become very less time consuming, and the time which will be now saved, it can be used for other work. So, overall your productivity can increase, and it can keep equipment tagged. Advanced asset management system provide visual representation of the location of all assets by a, that means you will be having an interactive floor plan. All the assets which are where it is there on a computer, you can find, you can click over there, you can know what is its status and things like that. So, automated asset management will give you a very clear picture what is happening, and you can do a good decision, and then you can optimize their utilization, and that's why your cost for the maintenance can also get reduced, and you can integrate the inventory management with it, so that that particular spare parts which is required there, what will be its economic ordering quantity, that can be properly assessed on time, and then when a machine is requiring for its maintenance certain part, it can be easily brought together. So, that means a computer or intelligent or automated the asset management system integrate all the operations together, and it gives a boost to the company's activity. So, there are many benefits can be derived from that automated asset management, like it will that same asset its life, total service life can be enhanced. It can that is your aid in rehabilitating, repairing and replacing the asset efficiently, you can do it. Meet consumer demands with focus on system sustainability. It helps focus on activities that are critical to sustained performance, or it enables business to meet service expectations and regulatory requirements, improve responses to emergencies or unexpected risk. So, overall when you do an automated asset management, it will be helping you, and there are international standards by ISO 55000 series, where there is a ISO 55000, 55001 and 55002. These three standards, it gives a very good framework and guideline for the formulation and implementation of the integrated effective asset management system. So, if we can apply this ISO 55000 series, your overall company's performance by the asset can be improved. Your low performing asset, then where you are using more manpower, all these things can come through. But there are some other standards also. This American Society for Testing and Materials, ASTM, has also given certain standards for best practices for how to keep the measurements, and then how the effectiveness of conducting such management, then what are the administration activities, all these things are standardized. So, in a nutshell, this is asset management, but you need to, your company needs to pay adequate attention to the asset to ensure reliability and industrial commitments, because your whole business, whole company's operation depends on the performance of the assets, and that's why you will have to properly see. But here you should find out a difference. Your labor is not an asset, that is also, it is a capital. Difference of the capital and the assets also need to be learnt a little bit. And then if you read this standards ISO 55000 and 55001 and 2, this series, that will exactly help you, and in future when you are doing your mine closure, that at that time, before mine closure, last 5 years, because all your assets will be older, and then if you are not kept them properly, and during that time you are maintaining the productivity as well as the intensive closure, and you have got a less revenue coming in, you may have problem. That's why the mine closure will require a very well understanding of the asset management, which can exactly increase the benefits that you can derive from the mining operations during the closure phase. So, this is as an introductory. You will have to do a little bit more work on it, and hope you will read. There are many good textbooks are there, and also there are different websites. Please go through it and develop your expertise in asset management. Thank you.